Well, good morning. It's February the 24th, 2009, and last week we had a little bit of stuff on the news going on, and once again we are well aware of the fact that we're headed for an election. And we just had the government, no, we never had a government. We had a mob over there in Halifax, sits in Province House, who are running this province. The mob is running this province. Tell us that they're going to take $175 million out of our pockets and give it to their politically connected business friends. $175 million, okay? You've got another group over here called Nova Scotia Business Inc. who are doing pretty much the same thing with your tax dollars. And here we are, in hard economic times, being told, once again, year after year we're told the same thing, we're going to have to cut back spending on the public infrastructure. So your health care is going to suffer, your highways are going to suffer, and we know your education system is going to suffer. It's going to take a hit because there's no money in the coffers to fund it. But yet, they can pull out $175 million right off the cuff and give it to their business associates in Nova Scotia. What's shocking about this, I was always led to believe that we lived in a free market capitalist society and that the state was not to own and finance and operate private business with state money. Well, we've been, for some reason, dumbed down and really dumbed down to believe that this is acceptable. So Nova Scotians are going to have to make up their mind. Are you willing to throw in and toss away your healthcare system, your education system, and your highway system and turn it over to the same bunch of business people who are turning to you for money to finance their businesses? Why should you, taxpayer, have your money taken out of your pocket by a system called government, in the name of government, and that money, $300,000, turned over to a company called Crystal Glass that is going bankrupt, that could not manage its money and its affairs, and we're giving them $300,000 loan, a loan guarantee, which we're going to end up paying, okay? And they're going to go bankrupt. Levich's Lumber Mill out in Enfield. How many times have they come to the pockets of the taxpayers for money? I mean, it's not only those two companies, but they're the two most recent examples, along with some others, that keep coming back to the taxpayers for money to finance and run their businesses. And they would have me believe that this is a free market capitalist system. This is a joke. The sad part about this is every single Nova Scotian and Canadian have been dumbed down to believe that the only way to get good government is to keep electing the same system that's been stealing from you for the past 30 years. And I mean, they've been stealing from us before, but the past 30 years, these political parties have been using your government to tax you, hold you at a level of poverty, so they can take that money and turn it over to their business friends to run their free market capitalist businesses. What a joke. What a joke. We have an offshore out there where we did have some money coming in, and that money disappeared. We have been governed by a bunch of Houdinis. Nova Scotia Light and Power is a good example of what's taking place in this province. Reagan, the Liberals, bought it from a private entity. The taxpayers built the new power plants and built the infrastructure, the poles and the hardwire and the towers. We paid for that. And this mechanism, this bureaucracy, took that at that time and they built it up with vehicles and manpower. They overburdened it purposely because now they have the infrastructure in place. And then it got so huge that it was costing the taxpayers to run it. But they did that on purpose. And then they starved it of funding. And along comes Donnie Cameron, who's rubbing shoulders with a bunch of elite lawyers in Halifax, and they decide to sell it off. And now all of a sudden, Nova Scotia Light and Power is making money, but once again, in the hands of the private entity, the infrastructure is collapsing and falling apart. And they're coming back to us to build up that infrastructure for them with our money. Then they're going to bill us more on top of that. Think about Nova Scotia Light and Power, how it came into being into our hands, and think about how it left our hands. And think about that hospital system over there. That hospital system is going to go exactly the same way. They are starving it of money, capital to run it. The Nova Scotia government unions and the unions are bankrupting it as well with high wages. At the end of the day, there's going to be no money in the pot to run that operation, and it will be turned over to the business community to run, like Nova Scotia Light and Power was. And it will probably happen to our education system and our highways. They started this 3P. So I want people to really think about what a political party is. A political party is nothing more than a legalized gang mob that is used as a vehicle to hijack our government. And how they hijack our government is quite simple. The party gets in power. One or the other has been the Liberal or the Conservatives. It could be the NDP, doesn't make any difference. They build up the bureaucracy with their people, and their people run the bureaucracy and pass bills through to the legislature, the governing party, to be passed. And we keep getting screwed by that system. Politicians that we elect should be there to police the bureaucracy, to question the bureaucracy. Not every once in a while, but every single day. Politicians should be walking into the finance department and holding and riding herd on them. Should be walking into the Ministry of Labour, the Department of Health, riding herd, asking questions, holding them accountable. But instead, politicians that we elect have one thing in mind: how to get into our pockets to feed that monster, to feed the bureaucracy, so the bureaucracy can starve our public infrastructure and collapse it. If Nova Scotians and Canadians are ever going to get a handle on what should be their government, they're going to have to turn their backs on the party system. Don't vote for them. Why would anybody in their right mind want to vote for somebody or some party that's continuously breaking trust with them and abusing them and abusing their power? If you want to defeat that kind of a system, don't go to the polling stations. Turn your back on these political parties. Vote for a candidate that's not beholden to a political party. Think about it. For God's sakes, do something. Save your country. Save your province from these guys.